Hey everybody, I'm Ben Yee.
I'm Elissa Stein. We are here the day after the midterms to kind of recap what went on in this historic night,
Yes.
historic from many perspectives.
So we're going to cover three things today in three different videos. One, what happens now in Congress, what happens now in New York, and what happens to Mueller.
Right. So
There's already been developments on that, but we'll get to
I know,
it. We'll get to it.
amazing.
No, don't say anything.
Have been
No
already since we've been
spoilers.
sitting here.
No spoilers.
But we took the Congress back. The Democrats now finally have a significant majority. You know, they had
Yes.
to take, what, 21 seats?
23, and
23.
now we're up by like 20 something. We've got a
Yeah.
net sum of 40
Yeah,
X
which is
seats.
amazing. So, great, fabulous. I saw somebody post on Facebook today that, yeah, okay, now we have half of one of the branches of government.
So true. The Republicans actually gained in the U.S. Senate, which is
and they
a
also,
negative.
and they now, with their two Supreme Court picks,
Yeah.
have a majority rule.
Well,
in
certainly
the
that.
Court. Right. But in spite of that, I'm still optimistic.
Right.
Because Maxine Waters and Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff, I love Adam Schiff. Now we're in positions of, I do. I have an Adam Schiff t-shirt.
No, really?
I was so
Next
impressed with
time.
him. I'm gonna wear my Adam Schiff
Okay,
t-shirt.
but so what can they reasonably
Right.
accomplish controlling just the House?
So
Let's talk about
I
it.
will just say that
Okay.
during that bizarro, as if that's different than any other press conference he's ever done, the president was saying that if the Democrats try to play their subpoena games, it's going to be like an act of war, and he's going to act back accordingly.
Yeah, an active war against dictatorship. We'll
Right.
see.
We'll see. So, but now, because in the past, when Devin Nunes was running things and Paul Ryan, and all this crap was happening, and they would just kind of ignore it, act like it wasn't happening. Democrats actually can do something about it,
They can,
right? They
yes.
can. They can do what, Ben?
Well, they really have four main powers right now. The first is they can obviously stymie legislation that the president would want passed. So they just don't vote for it in Congress, it never gets to the Senate, it never becomes law. So, thumbs up.
I was doing that before you even said that. That's kind of awesome. Although honestly, at this point, how many legislative things has he really brought up?
Not that many,
Not
but,
that many, and many of them
but they've been
spectacularly
big things. So like
failed.
taxes,
Right.
So some of that stuff's going to expire and it doesn't have to get renewed now.
So basically, it's a stopgap. They're not going to be able to bring anything up that they think is reasonably going to be passed, because most likely the Senate won't pass it.
Right.
But they can stop things from going forward.
Well, actually, that's only a half-truth because, two, the budget originates in the House, which means that the Democrats do have control, essentially, over the budget, which means things like reforming how our programs are funded, funding things that we would like to have,
Infrastructure.
no border
healthcare.
wall,
Right.
doing
but
that
they
sort of
can't
stuff.
but it's going to have to be passed in the Senate.
It does have to get passed in the Senate, but the United States can't go forever without a budget. So it has to happen. And so the Democrats now are the ones who will be writing
Nice.
the first draft of whatever budget goes to the president's desk. And so that negotiation starts with the Democratic agenda.
Hey, another thumbs up.
So thumbs up there.
Thumbs up. Thank you, Democrats, and all the people who got people out there to vote.
Three, and probably the thing that folks are most excited about, the capacity of
Subpoena power.
subpoena from the committees and also the power of impeachment, which really is just the formal articles of impeachment are just starting a formal investigation into crimes by the president.
Right.
It's not the actual trial. So this all comes under one lump of what you might call investigatory powers.
Right, and that's Jerry Nadler.
Jerry Nadler sits on the Judiciary Committee. He will be the chair of that committee. And so for impeachment, yes, but for other things like
Finances.
intelligence dossiers,
That's Adam Schiff.
that's Adam Schiff. And so if we're talking about the Kavanaugh dossier, which was not released, which was created by the FBI, could be subpoenaed by that committee.
And then Maxine Waters is about financial stuff.
Yes, and so we might see the release of the subpoena and release of the tax returns that we've all been waiting for.
So this is all fascinating. What happens when the Trump administration says no? Because I fully believe, even if they're subpoenaed, even if the Congress follows all the rules and they do everything exactly the way they're supposed to, which should have been happening for the past 2 years, I can fully understand somebody going like, fuck you, I'm not showing them to you.
A very, very important and critical question, and I had this debate with a friend of mine before Donald Trump was elected, in which he said, Donald Trump won't be that bad because the courts will stop him. And I said, how? And he said, well, if he does anything out of line, the Democrats will sue. And I said, so what? And he said, the courts will decide in favor of the Democrats. And I said, so what? And he said, well, then Trump will be an obstruction of justice. And I said, so
So what?
what? The federal judiciary, no judiciary, has an army, no judiciary has a police force.
Right.
There will then be a constitutional crisis. And so if what Trump means by that will be an act of war and he will go to war, then essentially what that likely means is he will not comply, or actually, I guess there's one, he won't comply, in which case you have a constitutional crisis,
All right,
and then
so
you send the
stop for 1
police in
second.
maybe,
Okay.
or the
So constitutional crisis. This is a term that has been thrown around so many times. It's almost like the boy who cried wolf at this point.
All right, I want
Oh,
to do,
no,
before we get into
constitutional
this, we
crisis.
should
Oh,
do
no.
one thing, which is we're over time, so maybe we should do a separate video on what is a constitutional crisis and how does one
That's exactly the
resolve
question I was
it.
going to ask, right? Because I think
Okay.
that it's been bandied about so often at this point,
Yes.
and I think that a lot of people don't actually understand what a constitutional crisis is, because there have been so many people who have said already, "Oh my God, we're in a constitutional crisis."
All right, we'll deal with that in 10 seconds.
Okay, wrapping up.
All
See
right,
ya.
laters.